What up, doggy?
Hey, gotcha. Let me put my screen over. Good morning, Rob. Good to see you.
Morning, man.
Happy to have you here
It's
today.
happy to be here, man. Happy to be alive, bro. That's for sure.
hmm I appreciate your time. Soul Dad Rob, Instagram handle and website, souldadrob.com. I was just switch my page over real quick to pull some of that up. And then the other one's still coming up. Is that coverdad.com?
Get
Also,
cover
or
dad.
cover
Yeah, it's
dad?
get getcoverdad.com.
Oh,
Yeah.
getcoverdad.com. I'm gonna switch my screen over and because I can do a screen share in a little bit here. Talk about some of that and anything else that we can cover. Let's
Yeah,
see.
the soul sucking midlife crisis experience.
Yeah. Yeah, I've been spending a little bit of time on your YouTube and of course I like your Instagram posts and I like just real talk, real conversations. It's a lot of social media content is literally fully scripted. And then, sometimes it's like, scripts can be really good sometimes, especially with AI. I haven't really done any of that yet, not with any reels or posts or anything. Maybe with like a little help on like a disclaimer for my podcast in the beginning of these videos or a description for my some of my YouTube channels. I played with a few of them to get something that looks really nice, but there's a lot of yeah, some of the AI scripted reels and things are really good and very helpful. Service business stuff is something that I'm actually going to be working with people to do in my business that I'm trying to build. But when it comes to sharing thoughts and talking about life and listening to a father talk about his feelings and it's some of them, those types of scripted ones aren't always that fun to listen to, or there's too much effort going into it. It gets a little cringy. I've posted a lot of cringy stuff myself a lot. I've had several Instagram
We've
channels. I try, I
we've all
think
been
I
there.
told you, I think I told you I tried like the alpha male stuff before, and it was like, if you don't get up at 3 a.m., you're a pussy. And if you don't lift weights seven
You a
days a week,
bitch. You
you're a
a bitch.
bitch. Yeah, and I didn't. It took me a little bit, but I started to realize because it's not really just me. And I'm like, this doesn't really work. This isn't all. This isn't not the best way to go. This is not how life actually works. This is not what people are really dealing with. But anyways, I'm talking a lot, and I want to let you get some words in, Rob. Thank you so much for being here. I'm excited to have you today. I was leading towards your stuff is real. It is fun to listen to you. We're
Thank
listening
you.
to a real person real thoughts. So it's cool to have you today.
Yeah, it's funny. I actually I t- like 6 months ago when all this stuff started, I took a class because I saw this guy on YouTube. He's like, I'm a creator, I have 1 million subscribers, and this is how you do it. Like I fell for one of those, right?
Yeah.
Um, and I signed up for it, and like 2 weeks into it, the guy was like, listen, you can't be real, like you can't be authentic, like you can't be yourself if you want to be successful. And I was like, all right, I'm out, bro.
Yeah.
I was like, I'm done. Like that works for, if you want to make it a business, if you have a business and you want to, put it on social media, do marketing, like I get that. But what I am going for with Sold Out Rob is just pure, raw, genuine authenticity. Like, bro, this is what men are going through. This is what dads are going through. And it's okay, like you're not alone. That's the whole premise of it, dude. It's just for other men to know, bro, you're not alone.
hmm Yeah, and you talk about
So
even if it gets the message across to one person that understands it and it helps them out, it becomes worth it, right?
yeah, dude. Sometimes we get caught up. Like I know I do. Like sometimes I'm like, oh, I want to go viral or I want the million subscribers. But then
Oh yeah.
like I feel like the more I get into it, the faster I catch myself, and I just remind myself, dude, F all that, like if I could just help save one dad's life, dude, it'll all be worth it. Um, because this isn't what I do for a living. This isn't what I feed my family with,
Yeah.
like I have other means of doing that. This is something that I have a strong passion for because of how much I was affected when I realized how much of a nice guy I was, how much I was people pleasing and numbing myself,
Yeah.
just to please others, and just completely forgot who I was, and ended up in a huge identity crisis,
It makes you kind of sick to like to think about that. I can relate with that so much. And initially, like there's a few things that come to mind. When I just started this channel, Rob was one of my first followers, and I getting in, I'm like ruthless on judging every last thing I see. I'm expecting everybody to be an idiot and pleasing the feminist this whole feminist side. It's not just feminism that I kind of go after in my reels. And I don't think I even really say the word much in any of the reels, but it's this idea that's really like hating men or hating the leadership of fatherhood. And I just saw one of Rob's posts and I reacted to it too fast. And he was talking about um, not being,
the difference between being nice and being kind.
yeah, yeah. And I'm like, oh, he's just be like trying to be too nice to, and it's recovering. You were talking about being recovering from being a nice guy. I almost can't even remember exactly what it was, but I made a mistake in judging Rob initially and thinking, he's messing around too much, like giving too much credit to this lady. It was like a dating scenario or something. And Rob was going to be my first guest on the podcast, and I was like, I cancel the podcast. I don't want to like whatever this content is. And something that's important to me though is that if I realize if I make a mistake, I'm not someone to dig in and be embarrassed about it and then burn a bridge and block somebody or make it all blow up worse or be even meaner because I'm actually embarrassed internally. I'll address
Yeah.
it. And the more that I watched Rob's content, I realized that I was completely wrong. I didn't even listen to the message properly. And I try to apologize to Rob, and he told me too much to quit saying sorry, and I'm being too nice about it. But still, um, I started
Yeah, it's
watching
like,
Rob's
hey,
content.
one sorry is enough, bro. We're good. We're good.
Yeah.
And dude, but you know what? Like 2 years ago, I wouldn't have reacted that way. And that's a testament to all the shit that I've been through and why I promote what I promote because like as men, we need to freaking slow down, dude. We need to
Mhm.
slow down and catch up with ourselves and actually listen to ourselves because we spend our whole lives listening to other people saying this is what you need to do to be a man, this is what you need to do to be a father, this is what you need to do in life. And I'm not saying those are bad things, but I'm saying we gotta freaking listen to ourselves, dude, and be like, who am I? What do I want?
Yeah.
What's in my heart? And because I spent so long um trying to numb myself, like with alcohol, drugs, all this stuff, I went to the other extreme. Because of that selfish behavior, you know, I ended up in a program and I ended up, which is an amazing program, but um, I ended up going to the other extreme, dude, and trying to be like this perfect, nice guy, and it fucking destroyed me, bro. It like literally destroyed me to the core. But I'm glad it happened because that's what I needed to wake up to reality, man, and to everything that was going on in my life. And for that, I'm grateful,
Yeah, it seems like it's the more time that goes by, and I try to encourage guys with this, a lot of like with family court stuff, is you got to keep making it through the time. Like I realize more and more as things go on, it might be something horrible that happens to me, or there might be something that comes up that I'm like, this is going to be my ticket. This is going to be the new thing I'm going to do. I can follow these instructions and I really want to get these results because I'm, I'm aging and I'm like, I can't, and family court will set guys back a lot too, or just life, trying to go one direction. You realize you got to start over and go another direction. The truth is, most people out there have to try many things over and over again, even into your 30s, 40s, 50s, and higher. And you got to let go of, I should be here. I used to be pissed because I'm like, I should be a homeowner before I'm 30, or at least in my early 30s. Now I'm going to be 40 in a couple of years now. myself, I'm about 37, and I could be like, like I never got to be here. I never even got to make enough money to really buy things for people on holidays and birthdays and things. That's some of the stuff that's always pissed me off, and I
Yeah.
expect it. But my original point I was thinking about is I realize every single one of those processes I go through, or paying some type of coach or mentor that I've done several times now myself, and pretty much every time I've done it, I've given almost all the money that I've had, which is nothing. And I'm like,
Yes,
it needs
bro.
to
That's
be
what
my
they do,
thing.
man.
But I realize that it's forming me. Every time I look back, I'm like, oh, that was something that really became a piece to the puzzle that I'm becoming now. It
Yeah.
became another piece. Like it was a learning process. And like Rob, I can relate because you can you can be I'm fully willing to, many times in my past to, well, I can kind of get into this character. I can try to do this thing the way that they're doing it. I understand it. I can get into it and do it. But then if it feels, and this is really good, I will probably help other people get to a place in their life where it's speeding up success, but it's slowing down, not losing, who you are, slowing you down from getting into trying to be a character that
Yeah. I
it's
mean,
more
it
important to
takes a
line
it
up
takes a
with who
long
you
time.
are. Go ahead.
Yeah, and it takes a long time. It takes a long time to finally surrender, dude, because we have our ego is powerful, man, and
Yeah.
we're attached to things. We're attached to material things. We're attached to ideas. We're attached to um goals, and those attachments are what cause us pain. So you got to go through that pain. And as humans, dude, we're stubborn as hell. Like, I know for me, dude, I carry that pain to the bitter end until I'm like, all right, I'm out, bro. I got nothing left, dude. God, I need you. You know what I mean? Um,
Yeah.
and so eh, once we start getting rid of those attachments and just start being present in each moment, dude, amazing things happen, bro. Because you realize you're not in control, dude. Like I've been trying to control so many things and so many people in my life. It's exhausting. Like I couldn't do it anymore. So it was like I'm gonna be present because that's where God is. That's what I believe.
Yeah.
Um, and it also made me realize I spent so much time worrying about the future that I ended up anxious, and I spent so much time dwelling on the past that I ended up depressed. So
Yes.
it's like you see how where depression and anxiety like
Pretty
relate
close.
to not being present in
Yeah.
the moment. You know what I mean? And
That-
that was a big realization for me. And so now I get up every morning, I get on my knees, and I say, I just want to be present today. Let me be present in each moment, so I can be fully there for the person that I am dealing with. Because at the end of the day, it's all about relationships, bro. Like I'm not taking anything with me. I'm not taking my car, my house, like nothing.
That's important. That's what it is. That's the people that we're here with, and it's our souls that are going to pass on. And that's cool that that's in your name, in your tag name and your brand, because all this material, money, whatever we get, it's going to be just us, afterwards facing God and what we did and how we treated people. Um,
Yep. I put a lot of thought into that because the most important thing in my life is being a dad, to my kids. Um, and I also believe in living from the soul, so it was just for me it was a natural fit.
Let me ask you, can you still see me if I just switched my screen over? Can you still see me right now?
I actually I can only see you. I don't know. I can't see a screen or anything
Yeah,
else.
no, I'm not sharing the screen yet, but I'm going to switch over. I just wanted to
Oh
show
yeah.
a picture
Yep.
about kind of how easy it is to get really focused on material stuff, or when you see some other type of route that, if you behave a certain way, you can get these things. Let me see if I can hurry up and go to this.
Yeah.
Should be pretty quick.
That's all I thought about forever. I had so much shame and guilt from living the way I was living when I was drinking and drugging that and I was terrified of what people thought of me. So I like went to the opposite extreme and wanted to like put on this image that I'm a nice guy, I'm successful, I got the house in the nice area of the city, I got my kids are in private school, all those things, you know.
Hmm.
Um, and not that that's a bad thing, but I became attached to um that image that I have to present this, or else I'm a horrible person and people aren't gonna like me. And that's obvious. That doesn't produce any peace, bro, or joy.
Yeah, 100%. It doesn't. It's because it's like we just having trust. And I growing up being with a relationship with God as a kid, I didn't have much leadership from either one of my parents, although my mother's father is a preacher in Ventura County in California. I'm naming my son after him. I'm about to have a son born pretty soon. Four girls, finally a boy.
Yeah,
Thank
amazing.
you. And kind of just him being there and being dedicated. He's like over 90 years old now. He still just shows up to whatever church he's preaching at, and usually he sticks to one for a long time. He helps build a new one, and he keeps showing up, and that kind of helped me turn back eventually because I went through the family court stuff. And this interview is not about me, but relating to this conversation is I started to blame God for everything and get pissed off of, well, I'm a good person and I'm super good to other people. Why is this stuff happening to me? Especially the family
Right.
court hell and having my kid taken away from me or being falsely accused of things like domestic violence. And then it's a big pressure, especially early 20s, like, oh, I should be making money. Some of my friends are buying houses, like, and I still like I can't even pay rent anywhere, not even in a room to share. And I'm really comparing myself with these things. And yeah, sometimes things work out for other people. Maybe some people don't deserve it. Some people do, and things go great. And you get frustrated at
Hmm.
both. You know, I'm good just like so and so, and they're doing fine. And then, or this person's one of the most horrible people I ever knew, and they're skating through life. You know, it's how you can't focus on that stuff. But eventually, I got mature enough to turn back to God and start listening and having faith. It took me a lot of reading books because I didn't trust anything. And I was like, oh, I'll read and figure out what the history is of everything. I want to learn it. And then you know what it turned me right back to? I was like, oh, I better be responsible and read the Bible. And when I read the New Testament, it was like the greatest personal development book I've ever read. I've read several. The vocabulary comes from the New Testament. That's the original personal
Yeah.
development stuff,
Yeah.
original belief. And that pushed me back towards God. And once I had started building a relationship and realizing we have to trust what we're going through and what God's building us to do because it's not going to be the same as all this other stuff. And Rob probably knows that you see though some of these people, it looks pretty perfect, right? But it's truly not. And some of that stuff I've seen crash pretty hard in other people's
No,
lives.
yeah, and the other thing that I experienced in the last couple of years was um encountering the darkness in me because I was hiding it from it for so long. And that's when it really hit me. Like I thought I was a good person. No, but I wasn't a good person. I was just doing things because I was expecting something in return. I was expecting people to like me. I was expecting people to say, "Hey, Rob's a nice guy." But when you encounter your darkness, dude, like your shadow, that's when you realize, bro, we're capable of both. Like I can do good things, then I can do bad things. I
Yeah.
have a choice, and I can't blame anybody anymore. I can't be a victim, dude. You know, like I have a choice to do something good or to do something bad or evil, whatever you want to call it.
Yeah.
And that, bro, that's painful, dude. That that was definitely that took a lot of suffering to get there because gosh, bro, you have this ego that's so powerful and that tells you, you know, what you want to hear. Um, but it's tricky, dude.
Yeah, I'd say like especially younger, and I did not have any real leadership around. My dad passed away. I was 16. My mom had married a guy, my stepdad, that they eventually divorced, but he was kind of like a dude that was jealous of my dad and me because I was already like a teenager when they got married. So he didn't really want to see me successful or do good, especially he had a son. He was trying to uplift his son and kick me down and stuff. And But
Right.
so without a lot of guidance or help, I was in pleasing people, especially in the younger years. One of the quickest lessons that we could probably pull out is you realize, oh, I'm being super nice to these girls as I want a girlfriend, I want attention from girls, and then you
Yeah.
realize the hard way, and probably
Yeah.
in a situation you'd be like, hey, why are you talking to me like that? No, I'm not gonna go pick you up and give you a ride because I used to do stuff. I used to go give girls rides and shit. Like, well, here's one of the worst examples of fully transparent is like more than once and over a term of years, like in high school or a little bit after high school, there would be girls like they would not give me the time of day, but they knew that I wanted to talk to them and wanted to see them. They'd call me after hanging out somewhere else all night just to get a ride home. This is before
Yeah.
even Uber and shit. And it's like,
Yeah. Bro,
and I
like
would
what?
go, but oh yeah, I'll come get you and then drop them off at home. And then they'd never talk to me again anyways. And so that's just one example. And there's probably a lot other worse ones that it's like internally you're ignoring your own intuition, your own observation of a situation. You're suppressing yourself to say, "What the hell are you calling me for? I don't want to go talk to you." But you're bending over. I was bending over and being like, "Oh yeah, oh maybe okay if I do this and then I can start having a friendship here, maybe a relationship."
Yeah.
And you
That's called
feel
a covert
dumb.
contract. That's called a covert contract. That's from, and
Yeah,
again, the book that changed my life was No More Mr. Nice Guy by
yeah.
Dr. Robert Glover. That shit changed my life, dude. Like everything, my whole life was in that book. I was like, oh my gosh. So I tell men all the time, you got to read this, bro. You know,
No, I have that one.
whether you have like a lot of the tendencies or not, like I think every man should read it because it's really eye opening. Um, and then you start thinking back, like when did I start suppressing my feelings? When did I start suppressing my thoughts and my like my wants and my needs? And it always happens in childhood at some point. And I'm not getting into like my parents, it's their fault. No, dude, my parents did the best they could.
Hmm.
I I had to I had to respond in the best way I could for my survival. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
And I do the same stuff with my kids. My kids have to find a way to survive too, because I'm not perfect. You know, I got baggage.
yeah,
But I'm aware of it today, and I know that I make a huge effort to break um, those tendencies, I guess you could say,
yeah.
so that my kids can be healthy. You know, one of the big things I've already taught my kids, like, hey, there's a difference between nice and kind. You know, so my kids know, like, you don't have to do something for someone just for them to like you. You know what I mean? Like, and I'm starting to teach all these things to my kids that I wasn't taught, because it's so important, dude. Like, they need to express themselves, but learn how to do it in a healthy way. So, like, but it's hard, man, because your ego gets in the way, and a lot of times you want your kid to express himself and be angry, but sometimes as a dad, that shit hits you hard and you're like, what the you know what I'm saying? Like, you want to react, and sometimes I do, but it's happening a lot less now because of the work that I've done. um because now it's like, okay, he disrespected me, but you know what, he needed to express himself and he's learning how to do that. So it's like it's hard to find that balance, but I'm definitely fully aware that
Yeah.
boys especially need to learn at a young age, to express their needs, bro. Because then we end up, if we don't, we become the nice guys, dude. And
Yeah.
that's a whole nother level of suffering and pain.
Yeah, it is. And I've never been to prison, but I've there's so much of this content out there where guys are telling stories about how things work in there, and it's I think it's a good example of kind of the human behavior that probably would be pretty present if we didn't have, civilization around us and stuff where it's an extreme. And so in there,
Yeah,
if you're and then nice and kind. So like if you're trying to just be nice and hey, excuse me, I'm gonna sit there. If you're about to sit down or something, and in there they'll be doing it on purpose to test you. Your life's over in there if you start doing that because you're just a bitch, and especially if somebody calls you that
yeah,
and you just take it and everybody else is always watching and listening. Your life's over in there, and you're no one's gonna stand up for you. No one's gonna fight with you. No one's gonna
yeah,
respect you. And but outside of that, I resonate with that because I watch a lot of this content and stuff that it's very interesting because of the way human behavior can really be. You know, there's a lot more good people on the outside that would balance a little bit of that, but that's how people can behave. But in real life, it could be, you know, maybe you're just going to be kind and respectful, mutually respectful, while still being a secure person, taking care of you. Maybe
Yep.
you're opening the door for another man or something that's walking through. Hey, hi, good morning, sir. I'll get the door for you, and then they go in, and then they might stop and like and bother you and say, or see you waiting in line at a cash register after you already opened the door for them. Then they'll step in front of you. I'll take that spot, man. And at that point,
Right.
that's where if you're being nice and like, oh, I'm okay, you know, it doesn't mean you need to get in a fight and end up going to jail over something, or more importantly, risking your life. But the fact that that's a point where you're like, no, you need to get in the back of the line, you know, and
No,
it's not that
but
good of
there
an
has to be a
example.
balance. There has to be a balance, John, because like at the end of the day, once you start loving and respecting yourself, like I'm not in prison. I've never been to prison.
Right,
So,
right.
but I understand that's a different world. But in in the world that's not prison, like if someone says something to me, like I don't give a fuck. Like you can say whatever you want, dude. But if you come at me, like I'm gonna defend myself. We're gonna
Yeah.
fight, whatever it is. But that never happens, dude. Like that's all created in our head. And
Mhm.
you know what? I realized that most of the problems between men happen because they're scared, bro. They're scared that something's gonna happen. So
Mhm.
then they preemptively behave in a certain way. And it's like, no, dude, let's treat each other with respect. It's okay for men to be vulnerable, and caring.
Yeah,
You know what I mean?
yeah.
But we also gotta be a little bit of dangerous at the same time. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
So you,
if your posture shows, especially when you're a husband, because being a husband, now you're responsible for another human being, you know, a woman, a wife that is just in our nature, that's what we're going to be responsible for. And like you said, typically like fights pretty much just aren't going to happen or something, but
yeah,
people are always watching. It doesn't have to be prison, but people are watching. And even if it's a workspace, if it's just a get together with people, or you're maybe at a grocery store or a gas station, if they can tell by looking at you that you're just going to be a pushover, they can come waste your time and get in your space, stand in between you and your wife in a dangerous way or whatever it is, if you're not paying attention to that and being smart, like you can be kind and respectful. And so a lot of times being kind and respectful with the right posture lets people know, okay, this dude's paying attention and it doesn't have to be like a fight or like they're going to rob you, but he's not going to let us disrespect him or his wife. And then 100 times more the kids, you know, we're not even in public and stuff that much, but not the best examples, but getting into that realm of like, you can be kind and respectful and that still puts up a posture that I'm not really going to bend over for anybody, or I'm not going to stand there and like let you talk to my kids that way. Not that somebody but will be mean. I notice sometimes people kind of almost parent or try to give a lesson to your kids or something in front of you, and it's like, we don't teach my kids that kind of stuff. Thanks, but you know, we got to go. Have a nice day.
yeah. See you later. Um, the big like when when all of this first started in my mind, like something's off here was there was a one of my neighbors called me a pushover. This was years ago, and in my mind, I'm thinking I'm not like I don't think I'm a pushover. But what affected me the most was like I thought I was supposed to be like offering of myself, and I thought I'm supposed to be like um helpful in a way where I get out of the way. You know what I'm saying? So that I'm not in people's way. And in my mind, I thought, okay, I'm doing this. I'm a good person. And then I realized when that guy told me that, I was like, bro, what? What the fuck? Like I wanted to like in my mind, I'm like, I wanted to fight. You know what I'm saying? But what it made me realize is it made me look at my own behavior. That like as a man, there's a certain line you shouldn't cross. Because you have to love and respect yourself, if that makes any sense. And
Yeah,
it's like I don't have to feel guilty for behaving in a certain way, just because if I behave in that way, someone's not going to be happy with me.
yeah,
Does that make sense?
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
It's okay for me to hold my ground, dude. I don't need to like give away space um just to be nice. But that's what I thought in my mind, like, bro, I don't want to be in people's way because I was such a freaking addict and I destroyed people's lives that like now I have to be like invisible,
Hmm.
you know? So I went to like the other extreme. I went to both extremes. And now I'm like finding the middle ground.
Yeah, so your soul eventually will be telling you, especially for smart people that I hope get to see this and are listening. You're a little bit smarter, and your soul is going to be telling you, like, I don't really feel comfortable behaving like that. I wish I would have said something like this, or now I just tied myself into
Right.
this commitment I don't want to be a part of.
Yeah, exactly.
And if it's talking to you, just start. It doesn't have to be perfect and fix it the next day because you're going to make mistakes. And even I think is a good example what I said with Rob is sometimes you'll do it a little bit too much and it'll be a mistake there. Maybe you did do it a little bit too far, but it's just a learning process. And if you're that's what it says it in the book of Proverbs in the Bible, if be able to take some criticism or some rebuke and be able to take correction, but not because of the purpose of being nice and bending over for people
Yes,
that takes
exactly.
you apart, but saying, oh, okay, I'm trying to take care of myself better. I think I might actually went a little bit too far this time. And but I'll fix it, here's another day. And like Rob said, and I tell myself that too, but it's so much better to actually get down on your knees in the morning, talk to God, express those things, say it with your mouth even, and say like, let me take the right path today and be the person that I need to be, stand up for myself,
Yeah.
be kind, but also lead my own life so I don't like get into commitments I don't even want to be in or say things to somebody that's going to bother me for 3 months or 3 days or 3 hours.
Yeah.
I wanted to
You
show
know,
you. So I want to, and this is pretty cool because I think this is kind of like on brand with what Rob gets to stop and talk about. And so not only is he, trying to live this way, but he's turning around and helping other people with his content. And that's why I like his platform, Instagram page, and then I'm getting more and more familiar with some of his websites here. But I just wanted to show this picture about trying to be a character to get things. This is a picture at a guy named Wes Watson's house in San Diego. If you could see that, Rob, it should
yep.
show up on our screen. I'm in front of a bunch of nice cars, and this is at a house. And this is one of the mentors that I paid. I paid him 3,000, which was like pretty much our like tax return, and we didn't have anything anyways. But as far as taking leaps to try and learn something to say, okay, this is going to build me somewhere. And then this is where I kind of was getting into the persona that, oh, if you don't get up at 2:45 a.m., hit the gym at 4, work out 7 days a week, you're a bitch. And
Hilarious.
you
I love
drive a car, if you don't drive a supercar, then you're just a pussy and you think that you're not good
Right.
enough or you're not worth it. And so I'm
Yeah.
standing in front of like several $1 million worth of cars here. A couple of like these are three Lamborghinis, a Ferrari. There's a Rolls Royce back there. There's another Rolls Royce behind it, and this other Bentley up on the left. And that was me thinking like I can become this character, which I kind of related to as men. You can kind of relate to that. That's how they kind of push you on sports a little bit or in the military or getting into like law enforcement or even just a job. It's like, hey, be a leader. Let's be tough together. But that kind of goes when you realize, and I realize, oh, this is going over the line. This is pulling me away from who I naturally want to be. Because there's sometimes
Yeah.
that guy, the mentor I paid, would say stuff that was like offensive to me or he'd say stuff that's offensive. Oh, you don't have this, and you ain't shit. And I'm like, dude, well, I just paid you to learn how to kind of get this stuff, and you're still talking shit in general to people like me, and I take offense to it. And I'm like, well, I need to be able to say this. And he was one of those people that if you disagreed with anything he said, because I was around him every day for like 7 months, just because I happen to be in the same city, he'll blow up on you. And I realized I had a lot of friends like that in my past, A couple of my best friends I was friends with were way too long. Imagine if the direction we could take if we don't put up with some friends like that. like, hey, I'm so nice. Like I'm kind of like agreeing with things you're saying all the time when typically all day they're disrespecting my lifestyle or my thought process. And I could have
Yep.
freed myself from people like that 20 years ago. And now I finally have, and things are easier and better on me in my direction, right? Can you relate to some of that stuff, bro?
Well, of course,
Yeah,
you know, it all comes down to fear, dude. That's one thing that's been clear to me for a long time is that all of my problems come from fear. And it's always two things, dude. I'm scared of not getting what I want, or I'm scared of losing what I already have. All right. Everything stems from that, at least in my experience.
I agree. I agree.
And once I realized that that's at the root, at the core of most of my pain and suffering, then I started reading up on attachments. And then I realized, dude, at the end of the day, it's always attachments that I'm scared of losing. I have this idea in my mind that I need to get here at this point, and if I don't do it, I'm a piece of shit.
Hmm.
No, like, and what you were saying about you're nothing if you don't have Lamborghinis. No, bro, if you're nothing before it, you're nothing with it. You know what I'm saying? You gotta love yourself, like, and that's the funny thing, dude. I live this life for so long of being, a successful insurance agent. I got a beautiful house, this and that, and I wasn't happy, bro. Now, I'm doing all these different projects. I'm not making a ton of money. I'm driving freaking Uber deliveries. And I'm freaking happy, bro. Like I
Yeah.
have moments where I have like a lot of sadness because I'm still processing a lot of stuff.
Yeah, of
But
course.
but overall, like emotionally, I am so much better, dude. And it
Hmm.
and it and it even shows in my lifestyle because I started losing weight because my appetite has changed, dude. My appetite for the last 20 years has been freaking eat myself to death
Yeah.
because of the anxiety and for some reason the last like couple months my appetite is changing, dude. I
Hmm.
don't like I can't how else can I explain that except like there's some major emotional and spiritual benefits going on because of
You're
the
not
work that
turning
I've
to
been doing.
comfort, right? Like you're not looking to the food for comfort anymore because of the way you're living is starting to bring you that comfort that you needed and you saw in other things, even in food,
Yes.
even in
Yep.
pretending to be
Exactly.
somebody, even in using drugs. It's all something to pull you away and bring comfort instead
Correct.
of facing yourself.
Correct. And at the end of the day, you realize you just got to sit in that discomfort, you know,
Yeah.
and that's a whole nother issue with having kids as well is with so much technology, dude. We've forgotten what it's like to be bored and sit with ourselves, and bro, that's not good, man.
Hmm.
That's gonna create a very unhealthy society, in my opinion, in the
Yeah.
future because you have to be able to sit with yourself, dude. If you can't sit with yourself, then you're gonna look to something else to fill to fill whatever it is missing in you, you know. And the funny thing is, the ironic thing is, what we've always been looking for is inside of us,
Yeah, it
but
is.
we've spent our whole lives like trying looking outside and then you realize, bro, everything I need is inside of me, dude. And God dwells within me. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. Yes,
It's
sir.
it's it's so funny, man, how that ends up working out. But you got to go through life, bro. You got to go through what you got to go through, to get there.
Take it as what we started with talking about here as like it's a molding process. If you've made mistakes or you feel embarrassed about like keeping relationships or doing or saying things that like and well, what kind of loser am I it's like, just keep surviving every day. And when there's nothing else, everything seems like shit. It's like, okay, focus on the next meal. Just take care of yourself for the day. Go to work. And that's why these are things I'm
Yeah,
picking up like from reading the Bible or Ecclesiastes, where it's kind of telling you when you feel like it's all worthless, like this guy does nothing and he's very successful, he's a bad person, or there's really good people that are tore apart, they all end up 6 feet in the ground. It's all meaningless. If you feel like that, you start just chilling out, focusing on the next meal, healthy, and go to work, and we get a little bit of reward and feedback out of that on our daily life. So make it through time And then really you'll start to realize, like I do, when you get into a healthier mindset like Rob is in, it's a molding process and it's still putting you together. You don't have to compare to anybody or be anything else. I'll tell you too, and I'll move on from that subject. I think that guy that had all those cars and stuff, he's back in jail now and he's looking at like 50 years or something. Because as
That's crazy, bro.
Rob said, when if you're nothing before that stuff, you're going to be nothing with it. I with the perspective of this person, like this guy was a liar, manipulator, thief, and he was a drug addict as well, and he ended up coming full circle from all the motivational stuff to going back to that because he never worked on himself and accepted humility and got himself right back into prison. So it's like, okay, hey, Rob is doing Uber Eats or DoorDash and stuff. Same here. And but I give people rides with Uber and stuff myself too. 37, like easily any part of the day, I'm like, what the hell am I doing this for? When I'm like, I'm getting older. I shouldn't be doing this, but hey, maybe accept that
It's
where
it's
God put us, you know?
it's all pride and ego, dude. And that's why I
Yeah.
always say, like, I had to get humbled, dude, because I used to think, like, oh, I'll never fucking do that, bro. I'm an insurance agent. I own my own business. Like, bro, I had to get freaking humbled, dude. I had to get broken, not defective, but that's a whole another point. I always talk about that because
Mhm.
that's a whole separate thing we'll get into later.
Mhm.
Remind me if you can.
Yeah.
But I had to get like completely broken, dude, to be like, you know what, bro? I I need to do something because not doing anything was not working.
Hmm.
I needed to recover because I was so burnt out, John, that I couldn't function. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But once I started coming out of that, and I was like, oh, I'm kind of bored. Like, I want to do something. I want purpose. You know, and that's when I started doing all this stuff. And dude, I'm happier than I was before. You know what I'm saying?
You
Like,
get some
and I would
direction
have
out
never.
of it. You get some
Yeah, and
clarity
because I
and new direction and some projects to work on that ego's not attached to. And even still,
yes,
like you said, like, oh, I want something to go viral and I'm trying to do this. It's a daily thing. I'm the same thing with me. Um, but if the ego gets out of the way, it's like, well, no, I'm doing this because this is what I feel like doing and I get to be myself doing it. That's more of a reward right there. And that actually will give you the best chance to be seen by other people. And that's why I'm so grateful to that I've been able to discover Rob and we're building a relationship because it's and again, like Rob said, it's the relationships with people that's even more than the material Instagram followers and likes and things because that's where the real opportunity comes from. When you meet people, anything can happen. That's why I'm so excited
yeah,
about bringing people together instead of just talking myself on all my posts. When I want to bring all these other faces and other people's perspectives and stories in, and then other people see that and they connect and they say hi. And then, the last thing we might ever worry about is how many likes I got on a post when whole new opportunities come to the table when people get
yeah.
together.
It's exhausting trying to keep up with all that, dude. You know, when
Yeah.
you have purpose and you're taking action, bro. Like, it doesn't matter what it is, dude. I don't have to have $1 million in the bank, you know. But again, that goes back to the fear and attachments. We think in order for me to feel secure, I need to bust my ass and roll over people so that I can have $1 million in the bank, bro. And that's not freaking okay, dude. It's not.
Hmm.
Um, I'm not judging the people that are doing it. I'm just saying I was doing that, and and I became aware of it. And now my part of my mission is to say, hey, let's all become aware of this. Let's stop judging each other, dude.
Hmm.
Let's start coming together and realize, bro, we're all messed up, dude. Like, we're not defective, but we're all broken. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, we all have broken pieces, dude. There's nothing wrong with us. All right. We're human beings, but we have broken pieces, and that's okay. And that's why we need God, dude. We need something higher, bro. Whatever you want to call it. I don't get much into religion and all that, but I believe there's got to be a higher power, dude. You know what I'm saying? There has to be
Yeah.
something greater than me. Because otherwise, I'm gonna destroy shit, dude. Left to just myself, I will destroy everything around me. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Like
So
um even just like keeping it in like a basic form, as if we're made in the image of God. It's in our hearts, the whether we ignore it or not, that we feel, and it's for a reason.
Yeah.
People feel this way a lot of, and every even like you said, when people feel that like there's some sort of higher power or creator, I know there is, but I don't, want to follow any of this other religious stuff. As that's a pretty close sign that it's written in your heart that you know that there's something else there. And if we just do it by ourselves, it's a mess. It's all this material is just
Well,
going to fall apart.
the funny thing is that it's all the same shit, dude. All the religions, they all talk about the same thing, bro. And it's all the same, bro. Different stories, but it's all the same. There's energy, bro. Everything is energy. You know what I mean?
Hmm.
So if you want to call it the universe, you want to call it God, the source, um, energy, whatever it is, dude. It's something more powerful than me, you know? That's
Yeah,
the bottom line.
yeah. The bottom line is that we're feeling that, we're noticing that, especially like you said, you're noticing in ourselves, like, hey, I don't want to be this person. I feel like I need to follow my own guidance, And I also noticed that I feel like there is a higher power there. Let's pay attention to
Yeah.
that stuff. Let's seek that out, Pay attention to take care of yourself, and the better we take care of ourselves, especially if you've started a family. Families can start, relationships can start without being super personally developed yet and doing so good. And when it's okay to realize that, understand that, oh, I haven't been doing a good job. I didn't really know what I was getting into. None of us do. But if you can start, focusing on, well, I'm just going to do better. I'm going to start paying attention to what my inner self is trying to tell me to do, and what the higher energy is kind of talking to me about every day, letting me know that it's there. And I'd say in my own
But
experience is like, well, maybe read up on that stuff, like what does it say in Buddhism? What does it say in Islam? What does Judaism focus on? Christianity, or what is some of this other stuff?
we have to slow down,
Mythology.
John. We have to slow down enough to listen to that. And that's
Yeah.
the problem. We're so consumed and consuming, that we don't slow down long enough to like listen to that shit.
Hmm.
Um and unfortunately, we have to just be humbled and be in extreme pain, until like we actually go through that. But it is what it is. That's part of
Hmm.
the process, right?
Yeah, that's I'm glad to have Rob here today, because I relate to so many things that he says. It really hits me that these are things that happen daily. Others may want to try and overlook it and scroll past because because their brain is responding to these psychological triggers, and oh, this caught my attention, so this is going viral. When
Yeah.
there's really good messages out there that I've taken notice to, that I see as important, listening to Rob, or I'm stopping and listening to this, and that it means a lot to me, because I'm in a place where I'm healthy enough to listen to this as something important, not somebody smashing a cake to get your attention in the hook, of the post. And then I'm paying attention to this, and now all of a sudden I want to buy something at the end of their reel, and it's got 1 million views, so it must be important. It's got 2,000 likes, so it must be important. It's really not, The real important stuff
Yeah.
sometimes is slowly growing and being genuine, like what I'm trying to do, what Rob's trying to do. I think that there's a lot of similarities between us, to slow down and listen to that.
I have a great example for men out there, who live the nice guy life. Recently I got approached by someone. He got in my face and he said that he was upset at me for something. And I know that I'm healing and doing better because I held my frame. And I didn't even get upset or aggressive either. I actually listened to him, and I took a deep breath and I said, "Okay, I apologize for not communicating properly."
Yeah.
You know? And then I just stood silent. I didn't look down, I didn't look away, I didn't walk away. I kept eye contact.
Hmm.
And then he smiled and he was like, "All right, cool, whatever." And he walked away, bro.
Yeah.
But and I know that some men are gonna be like, "Bro, what the fuck?" Like, yeah, that's a normal day for me, but not for me, bro. I used to be the one that was so terrified of confrontation because I had no love for myself or respect for myself. So that's a huge win for me, and I hope that other men that are listening, you know, can relate to that and realize, okay, there's a solution, bro. I don't have to be this way anymore. I have a choice.
Yeah, it feels so good to it, like you said, doesn't even take a lot of words sometimes. It's just your posture because it can make you feel sick later. And if
Yeah.
it's making you feel sick and it's tearing on you for years and years of your life, because it does, me and Rob know it can bother you for years and years and years till you finally start thinking, I don't have to like do this anymore and get frustrated and look at the ground. And you don't have to be aggressive. It's just like, oh, I'm
Yeah.
actually comfortable with saying, all right, I should have communicated better, and I know
That's
there's
it.
nothing else needed there. So what else do you need
Yes,
to say to
dude.
me? And I
Because
feel
we create
comfortable
all
with
this
it.
stuff in our head, bro. All this stuff we create in our head, and it's just it never happens, dude. And you realize all that matters is me loving myself and respecting myself and
Yeah.
sharing what my needs are. I didn't like this. I don't like the way you spoke to me. Oh, I apologize. I didn't communicate properly. But in my mind, before it's always been like, oh shit, this is gonna turn into a fight, a scuffle. Like, my mind goes to like crazy
And it's
places,
all
dude.
it's all make believe
Yes,
most
it's
of
all
the
make
time.
believe, dude.
And so this goes
You
into
know,
other relationships because everything we do is not just us. And so that's why it's beautiful that as far as Rob as a father and talking through on a real level these experiences, because even without words, when our kids are watching these actions, because we'll teach them directly with words, but majority of teaching is just seeing the behavior
yeah.
happen. And so the more we can focus on it, it passes on to our kids, and it's more than being rich. It's more than having a social media following or pretending to be somebody. Think about that gold. It's passing on. You're talking about behaviors that could last for 20 generations, even at the smallest little things could pass to your kids and their kids and hopefully continue on because they can keep just because we decided to finally pay attention and keep that good posture,
Dude, this is
care for
the
ourselves.
millennial generation is literally making history, dude. Because and it's so evident, bro, in all the social media you see. At least the genuine guys that are out there trying to help people, like we're all trying to break these habits, dude. And it's so hard, bro. It's so hard, and it causes a lot of pain, but it's so worth it because at the end of the day, what we want is a healthier society. We want healthier men. We want real masculinity back,
Yeah.
you know? Because and in my opinion, there's too many women now with too much masculine energy because men are not showing up with real masculinity.
There's a lot of
And
fake
and I
masculinity.
and I yeah, and I say that because I've lived it, you know?
Yeah.
My wife had to become more masculine because I couldn't take it because I was being a nice guy or whatever the reason is. And so now slowly but surely, I'm getting healthier and learning what real masculinity is.
Mhm. A good example right now, which I'm not hitting too much on American Fathers, but I will. It just depends on like where the some of the content is, but we'll have this offshoot called Iron Read, and
Hmm.
it's focusing on being it's physical fitness and health. But like I said, with that with all those cars behind me at that time, that was one of the dudes on steroids and appearing to be masculine where I had enough of it. I used steroids about 10 years ago and before that a couple of times previous. The last time was about 10 years ago. And then I'm kind of learning, well, one, you're just risking heart failure. So what's the point? You want to look like Superman, but you're going to drop dead one day when you're 35 or 40. That's crazy.
Well, dude, all the stories are out there. You see all these guys that were bodybuilders and in their 50s and 60s, they're coming out and saying, dude, this wasn't worth it, bro. I'm like fucking torn up, you know?
Yeah, and then so that is not masculine. Like you have to even like the now we're getting into a point where guys, middle-aged guys there's kind of an excuse or a back door to get on steroids and not call it steroids when it's I understand some people's uh testosterone levels are messed up, but I would think most of
Yeah.
us are fine if you just eat healthy, exercise. You don't have to look like the operator. They got the hat and the tight, super tight shirt, and it's like the veins are popping out, and I got my carry, and I'm fine with guns and stuff too, but it's just like this image that's happening. And I like what Rob hit it on the head, and that's what I'm trying to do. Like with Iron Reed, is like you don't have to go there. We're not all going to look the same. We don't have to look like ripped bodybuilder. We're all different body. If you're just taking
Hey,
care of yourself, you're doing fine,
hey, on the real, I'm realizing that women actually like a little bit of a dad bod. So, dude, if you got a dad bod, as long as you're healthy, bro, and you're happy, like you feel good. I mean, you don't want to have a big gut like me, which it's going down. But like, women actually like a little bit of a dad bod, so it's not a horrible thing. But that doesn't mean you can't be strong either. You know what I'm
Yeah, it
saying?
shows
You
inner
don't gotta be
confidence.
ripped. Yes, you don't gotta be ripped, but like one of the things I started doing was calisthenics, bro. I hate going to the gym, so I do push-ups, sit-ups, planks. I walk, I do all this stuff, and bro, that gives me so much like confidence and self-love because it's like I'm proud of myself. I
Mhm.
want to be healthy. You know what I'm saying? And that shows more than anything than what's on the outside.
Yeah, and it's not just being confidence and being a slob. It's confidence and I'm doing basic stuff to take care of myself. I'm eating healthy. I feel good. And so if that comes with like the dad bod, it shows the confidence. I feel fine. No, I do exercise actually. I am disciplined with my food. I'm not blasting, tren and testosterone trying to pretend to be something while actually risking your future, not being around for your family and your kids. It's like
Yeah.
it's fake masculinity. So that kind of confidence is good. And I'm trying to push back towards that area. I'm typically like extra thin. Even if I overeat and stuff, I have this tall, thin ectomorph body where I'll just like disappear, especially if I don't eat. When I actually feel bad, I don't even like to eat any food at all. And I'll drop weight and look like I'm in a concentration camp or something. So I have to fight really hard to eat food I don't want to eat and then lift some weights and stuff. And over time, I learned how to lift them in a certain way that I could actually start gaining some weight because that's what I have. I'm on this opposite side of the spectrum, and and I'm like, okay, I don't have to be because I've always had the buddies that were like naturally big and a bunch of them on steroids, of course, before too, where they're like, your legs still ain't big, and I'm like, shit, I gotta do more steroids. I gotta sacrifice my whole life and eat 7,000 calories a day to get big quads, and I'm not naturally like that. Let it go. Let the steroids go. Let the image go. If I'm doing even body weight stuff, I'll actually say too, Rob, is I respect that a lot more than just the weights because it's actually harder. If you look at the guys that are just doing calisthenics and body weight stuff and they're pretty serious about it, they end up getting more ripped than the dudes that are going to the gym every day lifting weights, which they're both good.
I love it. I love it, and my kids see it too, because it's the first thing I do in the morning. So they come into the room when they wake up, and about to go to school, and they see me doing push-ups, dude, and planks. You know, um, so I love it, man. And circling back to self-love, because I want to make a quick point that
Yeah.
one of the important things as men is that like to know is that, bro, we're gonna screw up. We're gonna fall. We're gonna relapse. Whatever it is, like we're gonna make mistakes. It's okay, dude. But once you start loving yourself, you don't end up in those vicious cycles of self-destruction because I messed up or I was doing good and then I fell into a bad behavior again.
Hmm.
And it's like, no, dude, it's okay. That's gonna happen. What we want to avoid is falling into the vicious circle, the downward spiral of, oh my God, I messed up. I'm such a horrible guy. Got blah, blah, all the negative self talk, dude. And that's why everything starts with loving yourself, bro. You got to start loving yourself and respecting yourself.
Because you end up making it worse. Whatever this little problem was, it's mostly in our head. The response to it ends up making a way bigger problem.
Yep.
Right? Our self-talk, like I'm starting to get in touch with a lot of fathers now with the American Fathers page, and sometimes, and I have the patience for some of these guys. I realize like, oh, dude, I'm really behind on rent and I need help. And really, I'm thinking like I'm the same right now, and I'll share
No,
that with them.
yeah.
And
Yeah.
but I see the behavior where like one guy recently, he's like, well. forget it. I'm just gonna have to give my kid back to her mom. I'm gonna lose my place. Like this just ain't gonna work. And my GoFundMe didn't get any money. And I understand those feelings, because it all feels dark and you get pissed, and then you're not even being
Yep.
nice to people that are trying to help you. But I'm understanding
Yep.
that I'm kind of picking up on that, and I'm saying, listen, it's just don't do anything to make it worse. Even if it all starts like falling apart, fine. But if you start going down the path of making it worse, especially if you're just being a huge asshole to everybody, you don't need to bend over for anybody. But if you
Correct.
sit and say nothing, kind of, it's better than saying, "Ah, fuck you. Well, you never helped me anyways. You won't help me now, so this isn't going to work out." Things get way worse. Family court,
I tell my boys that.
yeah, family court is like you don't get your things aren't going the way you want, and then you get this response that totally causes you to lose the rest of the custody that you have, even if it was felt justified. The things that I've been through, a lot of
Hmm.
people are going through. And you tell your boys, you're saying,
No, yeah, no, that no, I tell them that, that that's important. What you were talking about, the type of behavior.
like, don't
Um,
make it
you know,
worse, right?
yeah, dude. Like, I tell them, like, why do you guys think I retreat sometimes? Like, because I'm so angry, I'd rather just spend some time alone and process than vomit
Yeah,
and abuse you verbally
yeah,
or hit you or whatever. You know what I mean?
yeah, yeah.
And so I hope they learn from that. That it's okay to just say nothing, bro. You don't have to react. It's important to express yourself, but what happens is if we react and if we hit someone, if we become violent or break stuff, that just causes more problems, you
Yeah.
know? And like, it's just part of learning how to manage our emotions. But we can't suppress them. That does way more damage in the long run.
Yeah, it's not suppression, but it's just like taking a break. It's kind of taking a break and then not making it worse. That's why I tell my little ones with the timeout, like I don't hit my kids at all, and unless it was like something real crazy and I need to spank them because it was horrible. But they're very small, and I really
Right.
don't. And that's why I put in the importance of like a timeout, and where I don't make it a horrible thing either. And I'll tell them like, hey, me and mom will take a timeout. It's a good thing. All it is a moment to take a breath and chill for a minute and think about it. Let a little bit of time pass, and the clarity comes back. It's
Yep.
Timeouts are great. Adults love
It's
timeouts,
awesome.
I
Bro, I need it.
love to take them.
I need it. They're like, Dad, why are you so quiet? I'm like, it's okay, man. I just need a little time.
Yeah, yeah, and it's like
And,
and
and
so
it's
now
and
that
it's
they're
okay,
okay
dude.
with taking it. They don't
Right.
want to, but they're also like, okay, no, this is a second to take a break and take a breath. So it's a healthy lesson to learn.
You know
Uh,
what else I realized? Once I
mhm.
started again, and I know I probably sound annoying or redundant, but I don't care.
No, not
When I
here.
started
No.
love, when I started loving myself, I started reacting differently to my kids. And instead of reacting, I would just sit with them. When they would get upset, I'd sit with them and I say, "Hey, come on, come with me. It's okay." And it's amazing the difference in their reaction as well, and how they react to emotions and how much faster they calm down when you're just like, "Hey, it's okay, dude. I'm here."
Mhm.
You know, instead of coming back with more gas, right?
Yeah. Yeah, I got a little
And
example for kids and stuff too. Like me and my wife, we realized we needed a little correction lately because like in was what we respect women a lot too, because sometimes they're taking on a little bit extra role and spending more time with the kids so dad can focus on the stress of taking care of the family. A lot of times I'm at the house too, which is a blessing, but my wife would be saying like if you stop doing that, you're going to get hurt. If you get hurt, you're going to be in trouble. And then we realized even like our 3-year-old, she would like bang her knee and actually be in pain, but not
yeah,
say anything and go and walk away and be afraid to say anything because she knows she's going to get in trouble. Me and my wife realized,
exactly.
well, that's a mistake. We need to say,
Right.
okay, forget the trouble. If you're hurt, we're going to address that first. Tell us. Don't just go off by yourself. And so well, that was like a mistake with I'd say with both of us. Even she was saying it, but it's ours together and to we still apologize to the kids and say, if you get hurt, forget about the trouble. We need to sit and take care of this and help you first, other than having to hide it and be afraid of getting hurt. So that's kind of like a mistake that needed correction to
But
sit
that's
with them.
amazing parenting, bro. That's beautiful parenting right there because, dude, we're not perfect, but you guys have the self-awareness together.
Yeah.
and you're addressing it. That's huge, dude.
Yeah, it's so important. So we realize that it's like not threatening, like if you get hurt, you're going to be in big trouble. No, if you get hurt, you're going to need some attention. We don't need to threaten the trouble. The hurt is already itself. Like, I don't want you to do this because I don't want you to get hurt. I don't want you to be in trouble. And so
It's
that's
funny,
what we
man.
focus on.
Everything is always like has several layers before you get to the root. But one of the things I realized is I would be really neurotic with my kids because um I hate having to do double work. I hate having to clean up. You know what I'm saying?
Hmm.
So I would treat my kids in a way of like, okay, don't do this because then I'm gonna have to clean up. Don't do this because if you get hurt, then I'm gonna have to go to the emergency room with you. And it took me a long time to realize, yeah, like nobody wants to go through to the emergency room and all, but how much that's not helping them emotionally. You know what I'm
Right.
saying? Kids need to go to explore. Kids need to get hurt. They need to go through that. And I need to work on my part without affecting them. You know what
Yeah.
I mean?
Because otherwise they lose the initial lesson in the first place. It's like, oh, this sucks.
Right.
I'm stressed because now dad's pissed that he has to go,
Yes,
check in the
exactly.
emergency room, or dad's gonna be pissed because he has to clean up, so I can't and they don't think this, but they don't get to develop their brain and play a little bit more, maybe make a little bit more of a
Yeah.
mess. And even though we want to
Right.
teach them to clean up after themselves, if they're just
Yeah.
stressed because of how mom and dad's going to
Yes.
react to this, it misses the whole
Yep.
point. Good
Yeah. So I
parenting.
had to I had to do work on myself. I had to work on my shit, so that my kids can have a healthy childhood. And I continue like this is a daily thing, dude. We got to work on this constantly.
So Rob's a wonderful man, and I've been happy. I've only like I've failed several channels before. I paid Ty Lopez in early uh 2017. He was one of the guys I saw. He was like sitting in front of his books and he had his Ferrari. He's like, here I am in my garage. It's like almost got 1 billion views or something, this video. But you know what's better than my cars? Knowledge. And he shows his books and stuff. So and this is kind of why I ended up having these, even though it took me over 10 years since I saw that.
Right.
I kept the good things I learned from some of these lessons and dropped all the bullshit, like the Wes Watson stuff, or even Ty's got a lot of cringy things. It's like, okay, drop that. We'll hold on to what's important. It's forming me and what I relate to.
Yeah.
But like this little Instagram page is taken off just a little bit. I'm actually kind of surprised. It's because I failed a bunch of other things and channels and businesses I tried to start, that this one is actually working a little bit. It's not like uh why is that working for him or it's getting lucky? It's like I failed so many different times and I've made the cringiest videos. Even before the West
Yeah.
Watson stuff, I was still in front of a camera trying to follow Ty Lopez, where I was sweating. My wife was filming me, and it was so dumb. Even in one time where in the beginning I tried to drink a few beers to chill out, and like that was a bad decision to like be able to talk because I was sweating so much. My video had to be perfect.
Right.
I just want to say that real quick for some of the social media stuff, and that's why it is building. And I'm actually humble enough. I'm not just getting followers. If you look at who I'm following almost 10,000 people. I like have a discipline of following all, and it's not something everybody wants to do, and it washes out whose posts you get to see. But I did groundwork to get like these 3,000 followers in like a month. It's not from viral content. And then I've been posting so much content, some of it gets pretty much nothing. And then one of them's like about to hit like 30,000 views. And I've never put myself in that realm of having anything. And it's not huge, but it's like, it's kind of cool to see that. It just shows
Yeah,
keep
for sure.
going, keep being real. And it was because I was being real. And a lot of my posts are like kind of like over emotional, angry. It seems like I hate women or something, and I don't. But because I'm being really real in my stuff, that one of them finally like actually, and some of the other ones they're relating to people. People are coming and talking to me. But I want to focus on now because we're already taking up a bunch of Rob's time, and I need to be out there in my freaking Uber car and shit right now
I
too.
gotta go do some deliveries, man.
Yeah, so but to kind of get to finish this out, I want to let Rob talk on creating Soul Dad Rob a little bit more, even though we covered a lot of why it's here. And I'm going to share the screen and show. I want let's see. Let me see. Make sure I get the right screen share to get to viewers to go and follow. This is Rob's Instagram, Soul Dad Rob. And how do you say your last name? Is it Lasa or Lasa or
Lasa, yeah, it's Lasa.
Rob Lasa? I love it. This is the Instagram. You check out the highlights up here. Cover Dad, Go Play USA for the Soul, Love. I love these things. This is real. And so this is him talking on a lot of the same subjects and things that we're covering. He's got some good memes and things here, short lessons, messages. Okay, here's his Instagram at Soul Dad Rob, YouTube. And there we go talking about defective. You know, I'm not defective. I was just buried. A man documenting what happens when the mask comes off. I love this. And I think the more that like
Yeah.
Rob keeps posting and sticking around in community, like relationships like ours and others that we can start growing on, will bring more people to this because this is the kind of content people need to see. So look at all these lessons Rob's got here. These are so cool. And hanging out in the car talking. This one I recently just watched the whole thing and dude, it's helpful. These thumbnails are awesome too. So I got to get in and watch the rest of these. And is there anything you want to say as just kind of going through the Instagram and YouTube real quick, and then I'll go over to your websites.
Yeah, no, like it's very my mission is clear, man, is to be the best dad I can be, the best husband I can be, um, and also uh, be a light for other fathers, or um, hopefully my experience can help other men and other dads in their lives. And it's not to say that like you're not going to suffer, you're not going to be in pain. Is I just want to be a resource for them when they're going through the shit. Because I realize that I'm not a freaking preacher. I'm not a therapist. I'm not going to tell you you got to do this. You know, you're this. No, dude. I'm just here to share my experience, my strength, my hope, and hopefully that helps other people feel like they're not alone, and that there is a solution, dude. Like it's gonna be okay. You know what I mean?
Yeah, and we
So,
and we say that because it's ourselves that need to hear it, and that's why it becomes so important
yeah,
and so raw and real, right?
yeah. So my website is all everything is free. It's all free resources. I have some really cool like articles slash guides on nice guy behavior, stuff like that, and fatherhood. And I'm constantly adding stuff. I also have my book list, my favorite books, the books that changed my life. One of which is No More Mr. Nice Guy, which we talked about earlier. The second book that changed my life was called Stop Fixing Yourself, which was huge, and that goes to the defective thing that I was talking about earlier.
Hmm.
That like we have this thing in our mind that like something's wrong with us all the time. Like we're defective, and that we constantly are trying to fix ourselves. And then you realize like you're never gonna fix yourself. It's just a never ending. It's a
Yeah.
never ending cycle of just trying so freaking hard, um, until you realize I'm enough. I'm loved just the way I am, and I'm okay, dude.
Can I ask you where do you have a book list on your website somewhere in one of these? Let me see.
Yeah, it should be on let's see, on the bottom in the foot in the footer.
Oh, okay.
There should be resources, a resources button there, or a link. Um,
Let me see. Well, journal about the nice guy trap and assessment. I saw one of your here. Let me go
oh,
back to one of your links on YouTube was
but
resources.
by the way, the assessment is awesome.
Okay.
Highly recommend that you guys take that. It literally takes a minute. It's just a bunch of questions, and it kind of gives you a gauge of how much of a nice guy you've been, what kind of nice guy behavior you're exhibiting,
Oh, cool.
and it gives you a good starting point. And that comes from Dr. Robert Glover. I'm not taking credit for that,
Hmm.
but I decided to put it on my website and make it easy for guys to just do a little quick questionnaire.
Super cool. And is this just like like a personal rhetorical questionnaire for them to be able to answer and go through, or is this something that goes through? And does this like provide a form to you that you get to see, oh, this person filled this out and I can reach back out to them? Or is it really just for them
Yeah,
really
so
powerful.
I don't believe like I'm not into like chasing people or like annoying people. I want guys,
Yeah.
I want for men to be able to have awareness, and I want to create the resources to help them do that. But yes, I do have an email list. I have subscription. Um I would love for guys to sign up so I can stay in touch with them, but it's not mandatory.
Whoops. Very good. Yeah, and it helps. I don't want to bother people either. But also at the same time, it's good to capture some of these emails. I saw that there's an email subscription to sign up, like with the what's basically, in general, a newsletter to get
Hmm.
information. And I
Yep.
encourage everybody that was right down here at the bottom, at least like on the home page. I haven't put mine in there yet. I'm going to put it in because uh, for one, I'm trying to support as many people as I can, even in the littlest way, if we want to support, but also this is a way to stay in contact with Rob and listen to the things that he's got to say.
Yep.
Um,
And I
and a
also
nice guy
started
almost
and
killed me.
yeah, dude, for real. I started an online. I have an online insurance startup that I started for dads specifically that I'm targeting to make it easy for them to buy life insurance because that's one of the things that that's part of my mission is just to help dads in general. Um,
Mhm.
so and I've always been in insurance, so I started basically an online. There you go. Um, it makes it incredibly easy, and I even have an AI insurance avatar that I built into it
Mhm.
that can guide you through the process as well. But the whole premise is like, dude, we're busy. You don't need to complicate it. But if protecting your family, is something that's important to you, then Cover Dad is here to help. And that's the website is getcoverdad.com.
Getcoverdad.com, just like it sounds, just basic spelling, and then the AI tool that
Hmm.
says Bob right down here, and it's got question here, what's on your mind, type your answer, and so that
Yeah.
it's will help
Yeah,
self
I'm trying to keep it simple
benefit.
because, bro, like a lot of dads, one of the many complaints I hear is like they get overwhelmed because you have these people that are like, I am a financial advisor and I'm going to teach you how to make sure It's like, dude, let's start with the basics, okay? Like, most of us are just trying to survive, all right, and pay our bills every month. Like I'm not looking into like to having all these different retirement accounts and all that. We're working towards that, but the bottom line is we need to focus on what's most important. And one of the most important things is if you end up dying and you have a wife and kids, it's going to cause a huge disruption in their life, you know? And
Yeah.
so it's like you got to start with what's most important, emergency situations. So, like, save up cash, buy life insurance. And then once you're making more money, you can start looking at different vehicles to fund retirement. But that's just my approach.
Yeah, and then so this will even start off with very like inexpensive options, right? From very
Yeah, it's a
inexpensive and low
marketplace.
cost.
It's a marketplace, dude. The whole idea is to give people a lot of options. Um, and the AI chat, Bob is the avatar. I gave him a name. He's like my evil twin, not my evil twin.
Yeah.
I've never liked the name when people call me Bob, so I decided to call the AI avatar Bob,
Yeah, there
just
you
to
go. I get it.
just
That's
to
cool.
just to spite my ego.
That's fun to learn. Yeah. And
So
I
there you
say
go. There you go.
inexpensive options because sometimes, like myself, and what we've explained, like the position I've been in, even reluctantly, most of my life is I pretty much like have nothing. So, but it doesn't mean everybody's there. But even at that position, to where I could relate to say, okay, you can even start off with something very small just to find some protection for your family,
Yeah,
up to and including a lot of other options building from there, right?
yeah, yeah. So yeah, just keep it simple, make it easy, get it done, and keep going on with life, bro. You don't got to complicate it.
Very good. It's coverdad.com, souldadrob.com, and Lasa on, or at Soldad Rob also is the link, but Rob Lasa on YouTube, and it's 57 subscribers. I've got like 10 less subscribers than that, 15 less subscribers than that, and sometimes it doesn't show up so easy in search. but his did, maybe because I've already been there. But if anybody has any issue, these are all going to be linked, pinned in the comments below this podcast YouTube video. All of his links will be. And if I miss anything, I'll go back and post them again. You can even donate to help to support Rob, just to support his platform. And it's not a place of like, most of us aren't going to ask for anything. A lot of us need help, and it's just even just getting by. It's nice to be able to have support sometimes, and people can say, "Hey, I like what this guy's doing. I want to help support him a little bit," because the more he can take better care of himself, the more he can focus on these projects and
Yeah.
improve. And so it'll get us out of like doing like the extra income for Uber driving and stuff like that. So he's got don't I can highlight it here. Donate the Venmo and PayPal. So I like to say that for my guests because I know how important it is and how much of a change it can make, even with small help sometimes. So doing
Yeah.
business with Rob, or even just sending him something to say, hey, I like what you're doing and I want to support it a little bit. That would be very cool. So all those
Yeah.
links are going to be below this.
Yeah. I just want to be of service, man. And everything does help. Absolutely. I just can't, I just don't have the energy to pretend anymore to be in the corporate world. And like, yeah, I just don't have the fakeness anymore, dude. So I'm trying to find ways to provide for my family, um, and not have to deal with fake bullshit.
Yeah. And even
So,
then,
and,
like
and, and it's great.
you're most of the time do you do the food delivery more than giving people rides?
I don't do rides.
Okay.
I just do deliveries, man. Mostly I do Uber Eats, DoorDash. I just applied to the Walmart one called Spark, so I'm waiting to get that one too.
Yeah.
Um, and I also coach, which I absolutely love. And all this stuff is like I'm doing things that that I love and that I feel are making a difference. You know what I'm saying? Like, and I feel useful again, bro.
Yeah.
I didn't feel useful for a while, man. And I feel useful again. Like I'm actually doing something?
Well, and I
So
see it. That's why I made it a point to stay in contact with you, and I wanted to talk to you and share what you're doing here because it needs to be seen more, and relationships can help those things. Even though I don't have a big channel or anything, I think we both have a lot of potential, and this will be cool to look back on. But it's good to bring people in here. Real quick before we kind of finish up too, is when you say you're coaching, are you offering coaching like with other men and stuff like that? Is that what you meant by that?
so I'm not certified yet. And but when I mention coaching, I mean I coach sports, I coach
Yeah.
kids,
Yeah, hell yeah,
but
that's awesome.
I have several people have actually told me that I could be a life coach. So
Yeah,
I am considering doing some kind of certification. For now, I just tell guys I'm here to chat, bro. If you just need to want to rap and just talk about shit and you have no one to talk to right now, holler at me, dude. Seriously, it will change your life. If you're a guy that's not talking and doesn't have anyone to talk to, please reach out to me, man. Send me a DM. I will spend time with you, bro,
yeah,
because it is extremely important and healthy, for men to be there for each other. We don't got to be in a huge WhatsApp group. I don't believe in that shit. You don't got to go to a men's group with a bunch of men. Like I believe in those are good, and that's a different type of community.
yeah.
But men genuinely need just one guy to rap with, bro. We
That
need that
one-on-one time
release,
is,
man.
is is big. It's a big deal.
Yeah.
Um,
So if anybody wants to chat, dude, I'm here to do that. And I'm not a certified coach or anything yet.
yeah, and certifications, maybe I can just add a little bit here before we go is those help like continuing education. I think it shows that like what Rob wants to do, that he's just putting in a little bit more time to be able to do to provide help just even a little bit better with each little certification that comes in. But
Hmm.
even without those, though, I think it is. I especially with the things I've already gone through with learning or doing the Wes Watson stuff. A lot of that was the life coach based, and I want to give you
Yeah.
more information after this that I've learned there is. And then there's no ego in like with these channels. In the fitness world, it's even worse. But with life coaching and stuff
Yeah.
too, I want to promote everybody. I think there's abundance. There's going to be so many people that cannot get the same help from me, or they're not going to listen and resonate with me until
Right.
they see someone like Rob and say, "Oh no, that guy. I want to talk to him. I can relate to him. He's the one I
Exactly.
want to spend time with." And
Yeah.
we are very kind and want to spend time talking to people because we know how important it is, and we're compassionate in that way. But also to when we take it, it can easily turn into 1 hour, 2 hours, and more time with people. And so that's why I do also say that it's good to for when Rob set up a plan to be able to say, hey, well, let's do something where we can meet every week, and there is a paid plan for that. And I encourage others to do that because it's not that Rob's trying to take advantage of you. You're helping him help you by getting him off the road for another hour and covering a compensation for that. And so there's nothing wrong with that at all. It is important, and it's you showing that, hey, I can spend whatever it comes out to, 50, $60 an hour, kind of, if it's a month-to-month program kind of a thing, which I'm familiar with a lot of these structures is. It is important. And I encourage Rob to do that. Even before you go and get any other certifications or something, I'd say open it up now. And I'll tell you everything I learned from Wes Watson that I paid 3,000 for, like after this, it's all basic. So maybe that'll help just a little bit because I want to encourage you to do it. That's why I'm happy people can see this because they're going to see Rob and say,
Yeah.
I want to talk to him, not American fathers. I don't sometimes I don't really
Well, and vice
glorify
versa,
fathers.
bro. Vice
Yeah.
versa.
Well,
You
it
know,
goes
bro, you're gonna vibe like you, and that's the beautiful thing of
absolutely.
surrendering is that you realize, bro, the people that are meant to be in my life are meant to be, dude,
Yeah.
and the people that aren't, they aren't. And
There's
everyone's
other
gonna find
people
their
for
vibe,
that.
dude.
That's why there's
Yes.
so many different, all of us are so different and unique is because we can attract the right people to the right lessons that
Yep.
Rob could teach that I can't.
Yeah.
Um, and so all that stuff's going to be linked down below. I'm going to let Rob get out of here, and we'll definitely invited back. And if you can get some time to drop in, it's starting off slow, but the Saturday group calls for fathers and things, I look at you as someone that can maybe come by and talk for a few minutes one day, a little bit of a focus, and so people know who you
Yeah, no, I would
know
love
how to
to, but
contact
like
you.
I got 4 kids and it's like Saturdays are crazy. But
Yeah, I know it's
I
very hard
promise
for
you,
everybody.
I promise you, I do see your invites and I definitely consider it. I will hop on as soon
Oh
as I
yeah.
possibly can.
There's never any pressure with those. Like I'm in a point where anybody who's in my DMs, not everybody, but anyone who I think that might want to stop by, I make a new link every week for safety so other people don't get a hold of a link and start sabotaging it.
Yep.
But if anybody gets those links, there's no pressure to be there. You could drop in last minute for 2 seconds and not even
Right.
say anything or show your face. There's no pressure to be there. I just want to let you guys know you're invited, and it can turn out to be a place where you can come and actually network your coaching business
Right.
and all that stuff is an opportunity, especially as it grows more. So anybody that is getting those invites or wants to be there, come on by. You can meet people like Robin if he's got time, and a lot of other of my guests and the other friendship and stuff that goes on there.
Yeah.
Anything else that you want to cover before we get out of here today? Anything that I know I got to work on my skills with podcasting. I end up talking too much. I need to be able to ask
No, you
folks to
did.
listen a lot
This
more.
has been this has been great, man. I feel like I'm hanging out with one of my boys, so it's
Yeah,
perfect, dude.
just
I definitely
conversation.
appreciate it. The only thing I want to say is just start loving yourself, bro. That is the key. So any guys out there that you're struggling, um, you're lost, you feel like you've done everything you're supposed to do, and you're still miserable, just start loving yourself, bro. And it ain't gonna happen overnight, but that's what John and I and other men are here for, to be resources for you guys, to be a shoulder to lean on because it's not easy, but it's worth it, bro. I promise you, going through the pain that you need to go through to become a better man, a more present man, and a masculine man, bro, it's priceless.
Thanks for being here, Rob.
Thank
Sold
you,
that
John.
job, you guys. Thank you.